you just abandon any precaution. You know, folks, something could happen here, and if it does, so what?
Hey friends, welcome to Nathan for Us, a Nathan Fielder fan podcast. My name is Kelly.
And hi, I'm Megan.
And today we are back after many years, completing the entire Nathan for You series. If you haven't heard our final episode on Finding Francis with Akiva Wienerker, go and check that out. But we're here for a very special reason. Meg, do you want to tell the people what we're going to be doing today?
We must rank, as we have at the end of every season. We see something, we judge something, we make bold proclamations with little to no reasoning other than that's how we feel about it.
Yes, and I feel particularly for this one, I don't know about you, I'm gonna have a confession here. I did not rewatch every segment. I did watch some. I did watch some clips. But
what is
so
this?
I really went on vibes here.
I've rewatched them so many times. And okay, for everyone listening, we tried to start recording this episode 2 other times. And so before each of those other times, I also rewatched all the episodes before it. And then we just started yapping and then got distracted and ended up talking for a while just about like our lives. And then it got really late and we're like, oh, we should do this a different day. And then we did it again. So then I rewatched it again. But today I only got up to Andy versus Uber today. I started at the Richards tip after work and got up to Andy versus Uber. So that's how far I made it on today's. But what do you mean you didn't rewatch them?
I watched clips of them. So I got the flavor. I reread some Wikipedia summaries. But I'm going to be honest, it's just been a really busy couple weeks. And
there are times, you don't have, no one asked you, did you rewatch the episodes?
I felt like I should be upfront with the listeners. Okay. Also, I'm on the DL, your girl canceled her subscription. So I don't have access to the episodes anymore because it was going to roll over to the next month. And I was like, no, in this economy, sorry.
You should have just taken my login. We've revealed far too many secrets in the first 2 minutes. It's like, anyway. Hey, we're ranking. And one of us, their ranking suddenly means a lot more than the other, is what I've determined.
I still think my ranking means a lot, though, because I feel like memorability is a strong factor here. And I feel like my rankings are just a little more off the cuff this time. It was a lot more just I ranked, and then I looked again, and then I was like, I'm going to revisit this the next day. And then I looked again, and I was like, yeah, this is what we're going with. So let's quickly run through for anyone who has not listened to one of our ranking podcasts or doesn't know what our criteria is because the last one was a couple years ago. We decided when we originally did the ranking of season 1 that our criteria on the different things we would be ranking the episodes out of would be, number 1, how fun or funny is the segment? I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, did you laugh while watching it? Was it funny? And all of these are going to be out of 5. Our second criteria is how successful is the idea? This one I feel always ends up being slightly contentious between the two of us because it really depends on what you define success as. So
it's a difficult one. Nathan does not make it easy to define success.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's where we have a lot of our debates. How original is the idea is our other one. So again, I feel like that one's a little bit more self-explanatory. And then our final ranking category is the secondary characters. So again, each of these categories, we rank them out of 5 for a total ranking out of 20. And the methodology that we have used is that Megan did her rankings, I did my rankings, both of them separate on a Google Doc. And then I had a combined comparison so we can look at where we skewed from each other and, who ranked higher, who ranked lower. And then we basically just end up yelling at each other.
No.
In a fun, nice way.
Can
but
we
I
talk
think
about your birthday first?
Sure, of course we can.
You got into the episode, so lickety splickety. I was like, we have gabbing to do.
Yeah, we can talk about my birthday. What do you want to talk about?
So, if you didn't see the post that I made, it was Kelly Ann White's birthday. She turned 33, and she decided her wildest dream was to do an emo karaoke night, which is perfect because I found us Evanescence shirts, and
Yes.
we wanted to channel Isabella. And so we just went to like this little bar where everyone else, it was like an open like restaurant karaoke. It wasn't a private room. And like 20 of us showed up like as emo as can be.
Literally so emo.
So sad.
We were just all
wept.
crying over each other.
And no one else in the restaurant like knew that I mean, I assume they figured out that it was a theme and that we weren't just like a group of emos hanging out.
I honestly am not sure because like I was kind of hoping maybe the rest of the bar would like get involved. I feel like we didn't mingle much with the rest of the bar. There was like a pretty big group of us and we kind of had our own little area. I did inform like the staff that it was emo themed. Like the two owners of the bar knew it was emo themed. So maybe they also spread the word. I don't know. It's hard to say.
I particularly like that we could combine the rehearsal with your birthday.
Yes.
With Wings of Voice. So that was my favorite part. Although, damn, is that song hard to sing and I cannot sing it.
We did make a very strong attempt. I put on my Evanescence t-shirt that Meg so kindly gifted to me. And we did attempt to sing Bring Me to Life. It
went so poorly. And then one of our friends, who is actually quite a good singer, we were like, oh, it'll be okay if we invite him up with us. And then, we can kind of meld along to it and he can do a lot of the heavy lifting here vocally. And then Kelly's treacherous husband convinced him to only do like the guy parts. And so they didn't sing with us. So we had no cover. And so it was a bit of a screechy performance for those listening, but we did the bit, got it done. Kelly aged.
We do have a video. If there's clamoring in the comments, perhaps we will release the video. We should at least post a picture, but it was an all-timer of a birthday party, if I do say so myself. I was in my feels, certainly.
It was very, very fun. So it was a hefty weekend extravaganza with lots of beverages.
Yes, quite a few. Should we segue into, we left a big tip on our tab at the bar.
Not
someone else who left a big tip.
$10,000 one. Now, in the previous ones, we've discussed them in order from what we ranked the lowest to the highest.
Oh.
And I know the Richards tip is not the lowest ranked.
I mean, I'm happy to do the lowest to the highest if you are.
I'm fine with that. I don't actually, because you combine them and I don't look at yours and I don't look at the combined ones. So in our last ones, you let me know.
Okay, well, our lowest ranked episode with an average ranking of 12 is going to be episode 3, the segment Massage Parlor. So do we want to quickly run through massage parlor. I gave it a total of 13 and you gave it a total of 11. So maybe we can just chat through why we ranked it quite low.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to get us started?
Yeah. So for me, I thought that in terms of like how funny it was pretty average, below average. Like I gave it a 2. It's a good episode or good segment, but I think part of it is like season 4, the highs are quite high. And so I think the ones that just aren't as memorable or funny or don't have like really, really laugh out loud moment, to me, kind of that's where they fell. Maybe partially because I didn't rewatch them too. But so I gave it a 2. In terms of our second criteria, how successful is the idea, I gave it a 3. I don't think it was like, really the most successful of our ideas that we saw this season. I thought it was fine. In terms of originality for the idea, I did give it a 4 because I do think that it was quite original to, have what were they called? The wart angels.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty original, at least. And then in terms of the secondary characters, I gave it a 4 because I did like the masseuses. I thought that they were very fun.
Oh, I really skewed from you there.
Okay, tell me. Tell me about it.
So, how fun or funny is the segment? I gave it a 2. I thought that it was a good segment. This season in particular, I'd be interested to see which season is our favorite. But so many of these episodes were really, really funny that it was just, again, it was a bit of a hard comparison. Maybe if it was in a different stream, because I did like how they created a completely new charity. Yeah. They got the city councilor, which I think could have been a little bit funnier if they kind of flashed back or had him come in to see how he was being used. But they had a lot of real people who weren't as quirky. There was the one masseuse who was very quirky. But he didn't get that much screen time. I thought that the idea was very successful. I gave it a 4, but I do think a lot of that heavy lifting was Nathan going in and making it happen. So it's difficult for this business to continue it if there isn't that person forcing it to happen. So for example, they had it advertised that the massages were $40. And so everyone came in wanting that cheaper massage. Nathan sneaks in when they're already laying on the table, ready to get massaged. They're at their most vulnerable. And he lets them know that someone with warts will be giving them this massage unless they want to upgrade. And he tells them, it is contagious. They will be wearing very thin gloves, but you can upgrade. And pretty much every single person upgrades. So we don't actually get to see our City Warts angels coming in to do a massage, which might have been funny. But I did think it was very successful. Every single person who came in, they were drawn in by that cheaper massage. Nathan convinced them to go to the higher price massage, $15 more, because they didn't want to get warts. So from that aspect, it worked. So that's why I ranked it a 4. I thought it was a very original idea. Kind of tricking people a little bit, but everything's above board. I work for a charity, so I kind of liked the gala aspect of it all. I like that they were able to make it happen. I hadn't seen this before where it's like there's a disease you could get if you don't upgrade your massage and pay more money. So I would say that that's pretty original. I rank the secondary characters as a 1, which I'm kind of regretting a little bit right now. I really sewered them, eh?
You
maybe
did not like the angels. They're already like down on their luck. They've got warts, and you're like, you're also not funny.
Like the funny moments from them were and I don't know their names, which also goes against them a little bit. So the secondary characters were kind of the beauty queen who came in and talked about her friend getting warts by touching a frog, which was funny. But she's not like recurring character funny. We had the one City Warts angel who had warts on his genitals, which he talked about very openly multiple times, which was pretty funny. A little, rough. And then he soldered them off himself, which was probably the funniest moment of the episode, I would say. But other than that, Oh, the other question that I liked of his was when they were talking about baking, because it made me think of you. And he was just like, oh, is it baking that you like or the look on the person's face when you bake for them? And I was like, what a sweetie. So
It's such a good question.
What is your answer? What do you prefer, the actual baking or the look in the eye of the person you baked for when you give them your baking?
Personally, for me, like, I like the baking aspect. Like, I find it very relaxing, like mixing everything. And I like looking at the recipe and being like, oh, can I like improve upon this? Can I make like a fun change? Like, can I make my own spin on it? But when you do give it to someone, that is also a good feeling. But I think I actually like the baking part of baking the best.
Yeah, we do get the classic like Craigslist quirky characters coming in, which I did really like. I could probably rank them higher than a 1. That was a little ruthless of me. I was drinking some haterade apparently.
I was gonna say, so yeah, like I said, the average we had was 12.5 for Massage Parlor. I just like quickly was scrolling through other seasons, and like that is not a low ranking. Like in season 1, our lowest ranked was an 8.5, which was skydiving. Season 2, it was a 9.75, and it was Simon Seas. Season 3, it was 9.75, and it was The Man Zone. So like this one being a 12.5 is like very high.
What did we rank the yogurt shop? I think that's my least favorite segment. We didn't even rank it the lowest.
No, I think because, again, we kind of talked about this not on the mic, but the ranking criteria that we came up with, it kind of like skews it so that it's not necessarily the most funny idea that wins. Like
it has to really also be a good idea.
Yeah, it's a lot more like, kind of, was it good and was it original? You know, we did graduate from business school with really good grades, so we're just, we got to be fair here.
Yeah, the idea of doing well matters.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a marketing show.
This is a marketing podcast.
I did quickly up my secondary characters a little bit.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to give them a 2.5.
Oh, nice. Okay. So now we're actually 12.75. So even closer to the next episode we have here, which actually has one of the bigger spreads between us. So with you changing your ranking for Massage Parlor, our difference was only 0.5 of a point. Our next episode is Psychic from episode 8, I believe. And for this one, we actually had a difference of 3. So I netted out at an 11.5 and you netted out at a 14.5.
Okay, I was thinking about this. I think because some of we've had a lot of really great podcast guests come on this season, and I feel like the psychic segment was one of my favorites to talk about because Stuart was on, and so I feel like there's a Stuart skew. Because I was like, oh, it was really funny. It was such a good episode. But I'm pulling it back up.
You're being bought by the guests. Megan's in the pocket of the guests. And I'm out here, I'm spitting the truth.
My rewatch means nothing.
Stuart was a really amazing guest. If anyone for some reason didn't listen to that episode, like, I don't know what you're doing. But it was one of the funniest episodes we've ever recorded. Like, by far. No offense to all the other guests we've had, but
unfortunately not because of us. But he's an actual comedian. Actually, all of our guests have been like really, really excellent. I think we've always had good guests, which is really lucky of us. But the kind of like fun, interesting people who want to come on and chat, it does make me love the episodes really more, especially because some of these episodes we recorded so long ago. So some of them a little bit later. I'm just thinking of them very fondly. But Psychic was fun, so let's duke it out.
Okay.
Hit me with your rankings.
Yeah.
Do you want to go one by one?
Okay. Funny, I gave it a 3.
Same.
Because
Ditto.
I thought it was above average. It's
same.
Like just barely above average in terms of how funny it is. Okay, so this will be interesting then because we must have skewed off in other areas.
Which makes no sense because this was very clearly a very successful idea. So what are you drinking?
Okay, so I gave
What
it a
did you
3.
give it? Okay. So
Let me
3?
explain. Yes.
Please do.
Okay, because yes, they got a lot of phone calls. So, like, obviously, people wanted to engage with Madame Dora. However, I feel like part of the idea was also getting Maria Garcia in with the Solomon date of it all. And I think that part went so poorly that it brings down everything else for me.
I don't think that part mattered as much. That was just Nathan going off and doing a bit. Because I don't think she was prepared to come back and be a recurring customer, but she did get so many other calls. I think it is blatantly a good idea to find who has the most common name if you're a psychic and post a bunch of ads about it. Just because this one individual who did come in and we're assuming paid for a session, Nathan would probably have had to set up a much better meet cute. Like, he knew Solomon wasn't going to be the best meet cute to convince her. He thought that this would be the funniest. Like, this was not a part of the marketing segment for the business, I feel. This was a fun side character bit.
I also feel like Maria Garcia didn't like have a great rating review of Madame Dora. Like, she
didn't.
Was like, it was fine. Like, I feel like if she's on Google or on Yelp, but who cares about Yelp? Like, she's like 2 stars. Like, I don't know. She seemed nice, like a nice enough lady. I also feel we would have seen more people actually go to get the readings versus like just calling the phone number, because like just because someone called the phone number doesn't mean that they actually went to get their fortune told, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they might have just called because the thing just said like Maria Garcia, whatever, call me, but it didn't actually say
Babes,
like call me. I've got your future to tell you, or like show up at this address.
Oh,
you know what I mean? If it was like come to this address and a bunch of people showed up, I'd be more like, okay, that was successful.
Yeah. Okay. As someone who doesn't have as common of a name as Maria Garcia, if you saw your name on a bulletin board or somewhere on a screen saying, Kelly White, I need to talk to you, call me. Do you call?
I would call, but if it was someone and like they were like, I'm a psychic, you need to come in for a reading, I would immediately be like, this is a scam.
Only because you've seen this episode.
No,
but
even
your
if
name's not as common.
I guess, true. But I feel like if you're Marie Garcia, like, you know your name is common. They're probably getting this all the time.
I'm convinced this was an excellent idea. One of the frankly few excellent ideas.
well, we'll get to some. You don't think Andy versus Uber was a successful idea?
The sleepy cell.
Okay, how original was the idea? I said it was a 3. I said 3.
It was a 4. It was original. Who else is doing this? Who else is dropping this content? It was original. Not that I'm like in the psychic circles. Maybe now they're like, oh, this is child's play. Of course you hit up the yellow pages and find the most common names. But I feel like I really, with all my heart, I believe that this is a good idea. I feel like this was excellent and it should work.
Let me explain why I don't think it's that original, or like only slightly above average. I think putting it on a billboard is a bit original, but like I'm just thinking like email marketing, like using mail merge, all of these things that like auto insert people's names into the subject line, into the email message, even like text message scammers, like all of this kind of stuff. I feel like you get stuff sometimes that has your name in it. So I think that's why I thought it was like above average to have it on a big billboard and make it like so incredibly vague. But I didn't think that it was like, you know, a 4 or 5.
Okay, it made me think of when Coke put everyone's name on the bottles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a good one.
But we're a little late to the game. So it's not fair to judge this idea because we decided to podcast about it a decade later when AI became a thing and coding is relevant. And we can hop on MailChimp and have us like insert people's first names. It's not fair. Because when this was fresh on the TVs, that was not a thing. This was original for sure.
I feel like there were personalized emails, like probably 7 years ago. But I don't know. Don't quote me on that, I guess. I don't know what Salesforce was up to back then. I only went to that conference a few months ago.
Yeah. Okay.
Disgust.
You swayed me a little bit. And like the Coke thing did get me a little bit as well, which was my own thought trail. But I think this was one of the better ideas that we've had. So I'm just gonna say when I watched it, I thought, wow, that's a great idea.
Fair.
And I don't know if I've thought that many times throughout the whole series to think, wow, that's an actual good marketing idea I think will work.
Okay, fair. Well, okay, secondary characters. I feel this is maybe where we skewed as well because I only gave it a 2.5.
What?
I know.
Oh my God. How dare you? Solomon. Sexy smile. Sweet smile. What was the other one? Attractive. No, adventurous. It was adventurous.
Doesn't have a disability. Definitely one. But okay, I do think that Solomon is really fun. I do like Solomon. I just think my issue is maybe like he was too reoccurring. Like I think we just got Solomon too many times for me. It's almost like he like overstayed his welcome a little bit. But I do think that one moment with the sweet smile, sexy smile, adventurous spirit, like that's definitely the funniest moment in the episode for me. But yeah, and I thought Maria Garcia, lovely girl. She seems very cool, but like she was pretty like milquetoast.
She was a little tame. I do think it is very funny that he incredibly poorly did her makeup and then sent her to get interviewed. Madame Dora, I thought was very funny and maybe not the best psychic, but like I thought it was very funny when she was like hopping on the phone and doing the ad reads and everything. I feel like Solomon had so many funny lines about his dating life. Like it is a bit that they've done before with the Quiznos date. But I thought it was very funny. I think like I'm in the niche sweet spot, which should be identical to you, of like cringy Facebook statuses millennial, did a quiz to find out who my soulmate should be. And I feel like it brought on again so many fun discussions for us that it was like, this is a great side character. I laughed a lot about the shenanigans he went through. I really liked the side characters this segment.
Yeah, I mean, I think my issue is just like I do like Solomon, but yeah, I think like part of the problem I have with Madame Dora, and like she seems very funny and cool. I can't help but compare her to Sue the ghost realtor because of the fact that they're both in this kind of like mystical realm to me, and like nothing will ever be as funny as Sue being choked by a ghost in Switzerland.
You compare anyone to Sweetie Sue. Oh, you know what was funny? Someone asked me, they're like, oh, did you ever try to, because anytime I'm showing new people Nathan For You, like I gotta hit him with the ghost realtor. Like,
yeah, of course.
I gotta show him the gold mine.
Yeah.
And someone was like, oh, did you ever reach out to them? And I was like, I swear I did. And I messaged her on LinkedIn years ago. I sent her a whole thing and she never replied. So Susan.
Oh my gosh. Sue. Sue Stanford. Please contact us. We have something to tell you.
You know what I should do? I have free time. I should try to paint a portrait of her in the nude and send her a picture.
No, not in the nude.
Really got to grab her attention.
Why does she have to be nude? Oh my god.
No, sorry. Well, that's how Nathan, she had like a little curtain or something like draped over her. She was not wearing clothing.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
so funny.
So I think that's part of what brings it down is the comparison to me.
Okay.
Comparison is the thief of joy, though. So like maybe I shouldn't be doing that either.
Yeah, you've talked me down a little bit, I think. I kind of think maybe we should have like gone through this and ranked them as we discuss them. I'm going to lower it a little. I'm going to lower it to a 3.5.
No, don't. You shouldn't lower them just because I'm talking shit. You also watched them so much more recently than I did. I think it's just Leo season, so you like want to listen to me.
I always like literally my full hobby is listening to you. My main hobby is listening to you talk. We pushed back recording this twice because we just talked.
Well, I also did get a new computer, which was a big part of pushing back the recording.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
my gosh.
you have talking it through. I do think Solomon is excellent, but I agree that Madame Dora is not hitting like she should be. But I have actually my side characters for most of this are pretty low. I feel like Nathan really carried a lot of this season, but we can get into that. Okay.
Yeah, I just feel like there's got to be a kookier psychic out there, but maybe they didn't want to participate. But like, I just feel like there's no way you can't find like an extremely kooky, psychic in LA. Okay,
That's
I think
true.
the next lowest one, you're gonna be probably talking me down because maybe I ranked this one too high. It's again another difference of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Andy versus Uber. So I had it ranked as a 15 and you only had it as a 12, which is,
Okay.
from what I can see, the lowest ranked episode you have on your list.
Okay. I love Andy versus Uber. I think it's one of my favorite episodes. The problem is it was not a successful idea, I don't think. So if we can decide it was successful, if we can decide as a group that this was a successful idea and Andy didn't just abandon the idea fully and become an Uber driver, we can fix this real quick because I have it ranked, it is my highest ranked fun or funny segment. I have it as a 4.5. It's how successful and original is the idea is my issue.
Okay, so let's talk about it. I also have it marked as a 4 for funny. So we're in agreement. Very funny episode.
This is like
there's no denying.
Maybe the
this is hilarious.
This is an incredible episode. Andy is so funny. He's an incredible character. Let me pull up my notes on it.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me, what's your secondary character ranking? Because Andy gets a 5 for me because I love that man. I think he carries. He is perfect for this episode. I think that he does as much of the comedic lifting as Nathan does. I think that they're perfectly matched. I would watch a sitcom of Andy and Nathan.
Okay, there's a few good side characters actually, so I might raise mine, but let me just read some of the notes I made while watching it. Karaoke car, sleeper cell, sleepy cell.
Yeah.
Craigslist guy, prepaid cell phones, cash in a McDonald's cup outside the location, bring phone to abandoned pier, find waterproof pouch, attach them to cinder block, drop them in the water. Sleeper cell video, I do, burn Mambo number 5 CD, Andy is now an Uber. Driver, divorce lawyer.
The guy who gets the cell phone, we don't know anything about him, but that is insane. Scuba diver. There's just so much stuff going on in this episode. Okay.
I'm ranking a few things higher. It makes me mad that this is too low. Okay, because we can all agree. Everyone listening 100% agrees. This episode slaps.
It's
this is so fucking funny. It's so good. Can we find out who this Craigslist guy is? The police should immediately be investigating this man. He took these instructions and said, fuck yeah, this is my Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
Did he not? Was he not worried at all? And this man said nothing, not a word. Incredible side character. Okay, but I have how successful is the idea ranked as a 1 because they didn't do it. They did get.
I also have it as a 1.
No. Okay, we have to convince ourselves it's better. Why is this a successful idea?
So I think it's not.
It's
literally not. This is the problem with this ranking, which Meg and I have discussed it, and we do want to do a full ranking of every segment, but we want to do it just more based on vibes, how funny it is.
Just how we feel, which we're not saying don't keep listening to this.
Yes.
But we do need to do a ranking based purely on vibes. Yeah. Because this should be incredibly high.
I think we maybe shouldn't even do a ranking. I think maybe a power ranking where we'll do S tier versus and rank it that way. So we don't have to decide what's the funniest kind of thing.
Yes.
Although
but I think Ghost Realtor.
I mean, if you look at the numbers currently, Ghost Realtor is our number 1 rated
Susan. Because I mean, that's the beauty of it. Successful, original, side characters. Like, she's got it all.
She
She's
does.
done it. And she's still the ghost realtor. You know what? She's not in this season.
Yeah.
How could they not
She
bring
is
her back?
that girl. She's
She
that
is
diva.
that girl.
I'm going to message her and be like, hey, diva, could you come on the pod?
Please respond to your LinkedIn. Wait, should we just respond to one of her housing posts? Where is she operating these days? Should we just go to an open house?
We can't get into this right now. Air Canada's on strike. We'll never get home if we go.
Kelly, how committed are you? Should we plan a vacation around going to an open house that Sue is running?
I'm like, sorry, Colin. Our next vacation is going to be to Dayton, Ohio, so that we can meet Sue, the ghost realtor. It's like, what?
We should
Go
just get...
Buckeyes or whatever.
Should we dress as ghosts?
Okay, I can try and sell my house, and she can. We can get her to come sell my house, but we'll like hide in the basement and like scare people.
Yes. Okay. Anywho, back to Andy versus Uber. An incredible segment.
It's not got successful. It all.
It's not. But things that they successfully did was win my heart. Let me tell you. Okay. Even the little thing when they made that like children's daycare for their sleeper cell meeting.
Yeah.
And then they made it disappear. I was like, wow, my amateur magician Nathan doing it all for me. Thank you.
Also, like the video that Nathan makes.
The video?
So, okay, I feel like people remember the concept of Andy versus Uber. If people don't, somehow, this is a follow-up to an earlier episode with Andy Ashikian. He was in the taxi service episode from season 2. And in that episode, they basically were trying to get people to have a baby in the back of his taxi so they could give them baby onesies promoting the taxi and like get in the newspaper or whatever. In this episode, Uber rips off that idea. So Nathan proposes to Andy that they start a sleeper cell within Uber to essentially like make people hate Uber. And then they record a very threatening video and send it to Uber and are basically like, we're within your ranks. Like, we will be tanking your company from the inside. And it's a whole shenanigan. They do so many different things. They get burner phones. Like, it's a whole thing. However, in the end, Andy decides to continue driving for Uber and he does not go back to his taxi company, which is why we're saying it's not successful because Andy ends up actually continuing to drive for Uber.
He was supposed to join Uber to get bad reviews to like trash Uber. But then he moves his whole karaoke setup into his Uber vehicle. He starts wowing the crowd. He starts getting 5-star rankings. It becomes his main source of income. And so the sleeper cell fully disbands and he's just... So yeah.
Sad.
He really killed his own ranking.
Yeah. So I think
can we talk about them getting married? There was a wedding.
Yes. Okay, yeah. And then Andy and Nathan need to get married because Nathan gets nervous that he's going to lose his green card. So he wants to marry Andy so that he won't get kicked out of the country. Anyway.
Honestly, imagine being beloved enough to get tricked into being married.
At a Chinese restaurant. He signed the bill. It was so good.
It was so romantic.
It was so romantic. That was also a fun episode. I remember going through that with our friend Michael, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I don't think we can rank it any higher for success, other than like it was a successful episode, but it was not a successful idea. But it was a very fun idea. And they did successfully get people to join their sleeper cell, where Nathan was wearing like a fully wrapped face pretending he was a burn victim to get into Uber or to get into taxis to convince them to come, which is crazy. But people showed up allegedly. Okay. How original did you find this idea?
This is probably contentious. I thought it was a 5. I thought it was I thought it was really
sleeper
original
cells exist.
To start a sleeper cell. Okay, I think again, maybe it's because I took into account like all of it, like the sleeper cell, the burner phone side quest. Like, I think for me, it was more just like how they went about everything, even like the ways that they made the Uber bad with like the Mambo number 5 and like the stinky spray and like all of these things. I think that's partially why I gave it such a high high ranking.
You gave it a 5.
Yeah, I thought it was really original.
I gave it a 3 because
Fair.
it wasn't like I love this episode. But, you know, they didn't invent the sleeper cell. There's a bunch of movies where people make threatening videos. Like, they didn't invent fart spray. They didn't invent a bad cab experience. Which author, like, almost got divorced because he wouldn't stop playing Mambo No. 5? Like, his
I'm
wife
pretty sure
almost
that was
divorced
Stephen
him.
King.
Yes. Stephen King invented ruining someone's life with Mambo No. 5.
I need to Google it now because I'm like, am I just like, yeah, it literally was Stephen King. He only announced that in 2023 though. So this episode did predate Stephen King talking about the fact that he was obsessed with Mambo No. 5. Also, he was famously like a big drug addict. So like, I don't know if that was when he was
On drugs.
Heavy into cocaine. Maybe that's why he loved it so much.
He needed Mambo No. 5. So I love all the ideas. I don't think it was necessarily original.
I'll take mine down to a 4. I'll give it a 4. I do think you're right. I think 5 was a little high.
We're trying to raise the ranking. But yeah, I don't think it was original in like there were original elements. Yeah. So that's why I ranked it a little bit higher than a 2.5. I gave it a 3 because I do think that overall they had a lot of good ideas and that they were fun ideas. And when you put them all together, it's a quirky little fun little app. But, you know, a lot of the elements they didn't invent.
That's fair. You've convinced me to go down to a 4. I think the Chinese restaurant. The Chinese restaurant is also part of why I think it's so original.
That is probably the most original part. And I think if that was, there's no way that's more common, tricking people into marrying you.
Not in that particular
Not in this
manner.
context. You make all the dishes really unappealing, except for one that is pronounced I do. There's no way anyone else has done this.
No. And being like, oh, like we're going to make the marriage certificate look like it's the bill so that he signs it. Like,
and didn't he say we can't kiss because we have cold sores or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Such a good one. Okay.
Incredible.
Let's keep moving to an episode.
Side characters.
Yeah, I said I gave it a 5.
Oh, I gave it a 4.
Because I love Andy. The Craigslist guy. I do.
Andy.
Honestly, like the officiant at the Chinese restaurant, like all of it.
Yeah, that guy was so chill and didn't question anything enough, quite frankly.
No, it's perfect. He's a perfect person for this show. He just didn't ask questions.
Okay, you lowered your idea. I'm going to give the secondary characters a 4.5 instead of a 4.
Oh, man.
Because they're not like Andy's a star.
Yeah.
And he has recurred, but there are better secondary characters. But he's also a special one. Like, he reminds me a little bit of what was his name? The guy, the sexual intruder alert guy, who you just let him talk.
Yeah.
And you're just shocked by what comes out of his mouth, completely unprompted. Herman. You're like, he just is really sewering himself here.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay. What's next?
One that I feel like we'll have less to say about, Chili Shop.
Yeah. Okay.
So we are only 0.5 difference here. So we can run through this one pretty quick, I think.
I ranked this one very highly. I gave it a 4.5 for funny.
I gave it a 3.5. I think that it has moments. The blowtorch on the crotch with the goo.
The blowtorch crotch is one of the most iconic Nathan For You moments. End of statement.
Yeah.
Like, it is incredible. The P/chili button, like the chili, no chili button. The pacemaker, incredible.
The pacemaker, yeah.
Who is buying this chili?
That is also a good one. I like when he approaches people. It's very funny.
The pocket full of chives, the hat cheese grater. I really loved when there was the tailor who brought just like a larger man in and they were talking about where to distribute the chili. The fact that they had to puree the chili is so gross to me.
Yeah, it's
Who
nasty.
wants pureed chili?
the people at the hockey stadium.
I wrote under how successful is the idea. I wrote it worked, but at what cost?
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, yeah. So I gave it a 3.5. Like I said, I do think it is quite funny. I think for me, it just isn't as memorable as some other segments. So that's why I didn't give it as funny to me.
That's fair. I really loved this segment, and I love the idea of like sneaking it in. And the fact that he didn't get caught is insane.
Yeah. Why was no one reporting this?
Why was no one doing anything?
Like, he goes up to kids.
He's just like pulling food out of his sleeve. Why are people giving him money? It makes no sense at all.
It wasn't very much money, I think, in the end. Which is why successful, I gave it a 2.5. I think he made like, what was it, like $60, but then the ticket was like $20.
Okay, wait, I gotta go back and forth between my notes in this. So for Chili Shop, I said, how funny is the segment? 4.5. How successful is the idea? 3.5, because he did it. But I think that there's a fundamental flaw. Like, he had to accomplish a lot to get in and to actually sell chili. The creation of the suit, incredible. The burning or like the non-burning cream, an incredible addition. Getting the pacemaker, the doctor's note, that nurse, come on, or that doctor, technician, X-ray technician. I don't know what her job was. Flawed. Unbelievably flawed.
I think that we're agreeing, but I put all of that stuff into like the originality section. I think that's why. So I gave originality a 4.5 because I think that all of those elements were super original. Mm-hmm. So I kind of gave that the higher points, and I gave the 2.5 really, for me, the sticking point is just that like he barely made any money doing this.
The fact that he got in, incredible. I feel like the fact that he got in and sold food. Now, I did give successful 3.5. I didn't give it a 5 or anything. Like, I thought that was pretty darn amazing. Very successful. Original, I gave a 4 because who is out here selling chili from their sleeve? Like, if anyone's at a Jays game and an individual in a comically large suit full of chili is selling to them, please let me know, because to my knowledge, this has not been done before. I felt that it was very original. Where things really took a crashing down point for me was the secondary characters. I ranked them a 2. I felt that was generous. I could have given them a 0, quite frankly.
Okay, I gave them a 3, but they're not. I think, I probably could have gotten lower.
Nathan carried this episode. It was all him. I thought that the tailor was a fun side character. So I have Robert Bryant, the professional tailor, seems like a chill dude, willing to put a cup of chili where the guy's dick is. How original is the idea? I wrote in my notes, yes, 5, babe. But then on the actual thing, I put a 3. So I clearly changed my mind between when I took my notes and when I went over. Or no, original, I put a 4. Secondary characters, it was just Nathan. Like, I think what was the main downfall of this episode for me was the fact that he didn't get the business owner to be the one going in and selling the chili. Like, this idea clearly ends as soon as Nathan leaves. He's not continuing to do this. And I think it would have been much funnier if he had gotten the store owner, or he had gotten 3 people from Craigslist to put on the suit and to go around filming themselves selling the chili. If it wasn't Nathan, I think it would have been a much funnier concept, or a much funnier, like, they could have really gone for it with the secondary characters, hiring a bunch of people to go in and do this. Because then not only could the idea continue, but Nathan clearly knows that this is a joke for his TV show. And so for people to be hired, probably from Craigslist, being told that this is something that they should take seriously and go in and really try to sell this chili, I think would have been so funny to watch. And I'm wondering if they just couldn't get anyone to agree to do it.
Yeah, well, I think it's also like high risk. If someone you hire gets arrested, that's a lot different than like Nathan getting arrested doing this. You know what I mean?
Can you get arrested doing this? Like, what are the stakes? Like a slap on the wrist? Like, oh, don't do this again. Take your chili suit and get out of here.
I mean, you definitely get in trouble. Like, public health would be like very all over this. famously as someone who worked in that field. But
they keep it to temp. They keep it to temperature. What's unsanitary about the cheese grater hat and the pocket full of chives
and the cummy sour cream squirting out?
The consistency has nothing to do with its nutritional value and safety. That's a sour cream issue.
Anyway, so I think we're in agreement that this one's pretty mid.
For the secondary characters, the episode is not mid.
Yeah, well, netted out, we are pretty close together, and it comes in at 13.75. Actually, all of the episodes are pretty close together this season in terms of like our average ranking.
This was a great season.
Our next one at a slightly higher ranking of 14 is computer repair. So I gave it a 13 and you gave it a 15. So let's find out where we differed. Fun or funny, I gave it a 3.
I gave it a 4. The sexual intruder alert. And
I do
Herman
love that.
Just saying the most out-of-pocket stuff all episode. The fun Craigslist characters. The one really goth guy, asexual goth guy, who's the Aquaman asexual guy who says he thinks about Aquaman all the time.
I felt like I was not goth, first of all.
No, there was a different goth guy.
Oh, okay. I was like,
there were multiple
Aquaman
Craigslist.
Was not goth guy.
No. The Aquaman guy was just loving his orange, which is very on brand now. Very Taylor Swift.
Yeah. He knew. He was ready for Life of a Showgirl.
We have Herman just completely sewers himself over and over and over again and is perfectly fine with Nathan building this crazy door city in his shop to lock himself away from the computers, like is introducing himself to his own customers as someone who might go and look at their photos and then masturbate to them is insane. Like Herman is so funny.
Okay, but that's secondary characters. That's not fun. That's not how funny is the segment.
They add to it being funny. Like the door city of it all, the sexual intruder alert, him having to explain to the asexuals who have little to no computer experience through a window with like a bulletproof glass to keep him away from the computer and them having to physically lock it when he has to go to the bathroom. Like, I do think that they are included in Is It Fun and Funny? Because it's like if the secondary characters aren't funny, it's normally Nathan fully carrying the episode. And I didn't feel that Nathan had to carry this episode. I felt that there were a lot of other elements that made this a really entertaining segment.
Yeah,
the medical photos. The medical photos.
The medical photos is my favorite. Like, that is, I think, the funniest moment for me. That's the highest high. And the alarm. Those are my favorite things.
Yes. Both very fun and very funny.
I thought Herman had a couple funny lines. I think maybe I just didn't think he was as funny as you did. I think that's all it is. I feel like
everything he said, I was like, why are you saying this about yourself? Defend yourself a bit. He sewered himself so many times.
He didn't say anything that crazy about himself other than that.
Oh my gosh.
He doesn't need to masturbate at work. Which I don't think that's sewering himself. I think that's him being like, listen, like I'm getting it. I'm getting it where the getting's good, baby. Don't worry about me.
And you're just straight faced. Think that's a fine thing to say. That's fine to say on television to a business consultant you're working with. That's a fine statement.
We've seen people say crazier things, for sure.
And he's like, yes, we should set up an alarm that announces me as a sexual intruder, the owner of this shop, if I need to go to the washroom.
I mean, he's not the one who came up with that idea, though.
But he has to say, like, yeah, I agree to this. We're going to build this zone in my store.
I don't know if he necessarily, was consulted on that part. Like, to me, it seems more just like he showed up and they were like, this is what we're doing. And he was like, okay, whatever. Like, I think he just seemed like he was just more of a come with guy to me. I think that's maybe why I'm like, I did think the whole thing was funny. I think that a lot of it was funny, which is why I gave it a 3. Like, I don't think a 3 is a bad rating. I still thought the segment was funny. I just thought that there were funnier in the rest of the season. So maybe we just have a different sense.
There were 2 that were slightly funnier.
I have 3. One of them being I have a 4.
Okay, I have some that are equal, but I have 2 that are funnier that I believe we've actually already discussed.
Oh, okay. Well, then we're
Somehow.
gonna have some spicy discussions coming
No,
up. Because
we're for sure not that far off. Okay, how successful is the idea? I put a 3 because they technically set everything up, but there's no way that they got the customers that they got because they were advertising that there were asexuals who would be repairing the computers. They did successfully repair the computers using the asexual computer repair techs. They set everything up where he was able to help them repair it. They successfully executed the idea, but I don't feel as if it was a driving force for them getting new customers. And I highly doubt that they continued this afterwards.
yeah, I gave it a 2.5. I thought it was like middle of the road.
Yeah.
Like it was successful, but it was, they're not going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And even the customers
they did the thing.
Like the customers, when they were explaining it to them, didn't even seem like that shocked or like they didn't have a big reaction or anything. So I think it was just kind of like, it was fine.
Mm-hmm. I gave how original is the idea. This was my most original idea. I gave it a 4.5. I think it's the most original idea this season.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.
What was this?
I gave it a 4. I think that the chili shop was more original, and one other one that we haven't talked about that I gave a 5.
I feel like this was super original. No one else is doing this. I've never heard of this. I've never seen this again. I will never see this again. This is original.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think part of it is like only 1% of the population is asexual. So like the Venn diagram of finding people who are asexual and able to repair your computer would be very low already.
Yeah.
Like that's a very specific population.
Yeah.
If anyone's out there who's asexual and repairing computers, like please reach out.
Yeah, please help me with my
will
computer.
Promote your business for you.
Yeah,
you can be our first sponsor.
Okay, secondary characters, I gave it a 3.5 because Herman
I gave it the exact same.
I really don't feel like we were very different. 3.5, Herman's incredible. The rest of them were fine. Herman carried this, but wasn't like, he was very, very funny, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I need him in every episode.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're like underselling Randy and Nick a little, who I thought were pretty funny in the manner that like they seemed very out of their element and like they were really just there, which I did love for this specific episode because I feel like it was so centered around like we got to get the asexual population to be repairing the computers, and then like the 2 people that they found to repair the computers like literally could not seem less interested in being in the show.
Yeah.
So I just like their vibes, I guess.
They did have excellent vibes. They seemed like very normal people. Like, they seemed very sensible. They seemed very normal. They were like, yes, I am asexual, but I also respect people's privacy. And that is mainly why I would not be looking through your photos. But like, they just seemed like very normal, very nice people, which is not necessarily what I'm looking for. Like maybe in my normal life, they would be lovely to talk to, but for the purposes of this show, I don't want you to be nice and normal, quite frankly. You can take that somewhere else.
All right. Oh, and the next one we have another pretty big difference. So we can...
I'm like, how?
chat about that. So coming in with an average of 14.5, which is actually tied with the next one after it as well. So I don't know if we want to...
We got to mix it up.
Do you want me to tell you what it's tied with?
Well, what episode are we even talking about?
The anecdote is tied with Shipping Logistics Company.
Ooh.
So I gave the anecdote a 16 and you gave it a 13.
Yeah. Let's just do this one first.
Explain yourself. Okay. I will preface with, I think part of the reason why I love this one so much is in like the presentation. So we'll get into it, I guess. But how fun or funny is the segment? I gave this a 3.5. So
I
actually
gave it a 4. Suck it. Chill out. I thought it was funnier than you.
You did think it was funnier than me. I think we can be in agreement that like this is a very funny segment. Like,
how successful? 4.
Okay, I gave it a 5.
Like, okay, here's where I falter. And I think we discussed this when we actually did this episode. He came up with a good segment, I guess. But it was very similar to all the other segments. Like, that was blatantly what he was doing, was copying other people's anecdotes that they go on talk shows, to the point where the person, I think it was Kristen Dunst, right before him, told a story that was almost identical. But
okay, her story was not that identical, though, and I think that's the point. I think it was, like, very clearly not that identical, other than that it just mentioned the same, like, things. Like, it mentioned drugs, and, like, that's where the kind of the similarities end.
But where I do not think it is successful is that I do not think it promoted the show Nathan For You, which is what he went on to promote it. Like, you'd have to go and watch this episode. But if you just watch this segment, would you think, oh, I must go watch this show? Like, he didn't talk about the show much.
But that's, like, the point of a talk show, is that people go on. That's, like, the whole point of this episode, right? People go on, they tell these, like, weird anecdotes, try and, like, make themselves seem really personable and fun. And then at the end, Jimmy Kimmel's like, okay, and what are you here to promote? And Nathan goes, Nathan For You. Like, come watch my show. And that's, like, the whole thing, right? Why else would all of these celebrities have so many clips of them talking about being pulled over, being
I just want to say,
all of these things.
You need to start talking to me like my ranking. I gave it a 4.
I know.
Simmer down. You gave it a 5. I gave it a 4. They're very freaking similar. You're acting like I gave it a 2.
I really like this episode.
This is not the best episode. It was original and successful. Well, no, it was successful, but, like, it's fine.
Okay, what about original? Would you give it?
3.
Okay, I gave it a 4.
People rehearse things all the time.
Well, more so now than previously.
Yeah, more than ever before.
But I think, again, like, my originality comes in with, like, the ashes, the big suit. Like, all of these elements coming together, to me, are, like, part of the originality of it.
But he got all these ideas from watching other people's talk shows and saying, here are the most common things I've heard of in all these talk shows that I watched. You know, some sort of mysterious substance being mistaken for drugs. Like, the whole point is that his idea wasn't original and it was copying all these other talk shows so he could fit in with them.
But none of those people went through and engineered a way to make sure that their story, which encompassed all of these different aspects that Nathan deemed the most commonly seen in talk shows, actually happened to them. And I feel like the whole point is, like,
actually happened to them.
People can
They
be
just
lying.
lived it. They just lived it for real. Nathan didn't just have a good story on his own. They actually lived it, allegedly.
I mean, so did Nathan. That's the whole point. He lived it. I also think the originality of this being, like, the reveal where, like, the episode starts with him on the show and then he tells, like, this whole narrative. Like, I think narratively this episode or this segment is so well put together. Like, it starts off with Nathan explaining that he goes on these shows. He can't do a good job. He's, like, really awkward and all this thing. And then the reveal that, like, he made this up and, like, then we get to go see how he made this whole thing happen, I think is so funny. I think it's so funny that this happened weeks after the actual Jimmy Kimmel episode came out. Like, that to me just gives me such a kick. Like, that is so hilarious and makes it so much more original in that way for me.
I ranked it a 4 for fun or funny. But the side characters is where you lose me. Quite frankly, I thought that I gave this episode really great rankings. I gave it a 2. Who's the side character? It's just Nathan.
The mom.
Okay, she's fine. She's a very come with.
The mom, the guy with the big suit.
Like, they
cop?
were very, like, bland people, I feel.
Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy of the Kimmel celebrities.
They are not secondary characters to me.
There were so many people. Kirsten Dunst. Like, I feel like there was a lot of different people involved here.
The number of people doesn't add to the quality of the people. Like, the mom was, like, the guy with the big suit was, like, he wasn't that funny. He just had a big suit.
Remember him asking his mom if he could borrow her ashes for a big project? That was
a funny question that Nathan made him ask. Nathan was who was funny. Nathan was the funny one, the main character. Like the secondary characters this episode, I felt were very irrelevant. Like Nathan really drove the narrative, drove the storyline. He was clearly the star. Everyone else was just like there to help, but they didn't like drive the episode. Like if this guy didn't have a big suit, he'd find a different guy with a big suit. It was very funny that he didn't have his mother's actual ashes. Like that concept is very funny. But I don't think that he was particularly funny in his way of requesting, or she was particularly funny. Like Nathan was the funny one.
I just think that I liked the characters, and I really liked the cop. I thought the cop was very funny when he just read off like it's his mother's ashes in such a bland way. I thought was
the cop
incredible.
Was just a terrible actor.
I think that's why I liked it. It really added to it to me.
No. So again, I ranked this incredibly high. It was one of I gave it a wonderful score because the secondary characters were not good. And the idea was not as original as some of the other ideas.
Okay, well, let's go to the one it's tied with, which is Shipping Logistics Company. Because I gave this a 15 and you gave it a 14. So we're a little bit closer.
We're so close. This could be like a 0.5 here, a 0.5 there. Shipping Logistics Company, fun or funny.
I gave it a 4.
I gave it a 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very close.
It was a great segment. It was very fun. It was very funny.
Successful. I gave it a 2.
I gave it a 2.5. Yeah, this clearly didn't work, but I loved everything that they accomplished. I felt that there were many elements that were very successful. If we're going to go with like the success of the idea, it's a little bit difficult because I don't think we're really marketing or convincing logistics companies that smoke detectors are an instrument. So that part wasn't successful, which is the main idea. But there are so many successful elements of this episode that are very difficult to pull off. The whole hiring someone from Shell, convincing the band to use the smoke detector, getting the band to give away free gas in protest of Shell using their song. Like these were all very successful and I feel like difficult to pull off. Like he actually got someone to believe that they worked for Shell to go to a community to talk about an oil spill. They had an actual kind of town hall meeting about it where they used the song. Nathan recorded it, showed it to the band. Like he really social engineered this war between them all. And I thought that that was really incredible. So there's a lot of parts about this episode that I thought were very successful. But the idea itself was not a successful one. But it was a very entertaining episode, of course.
Yeah. So I think for me, successful is literally just like the main idea. How successful is it? Versus original, difficult. I did give it a 5 because I think all the other elements that went into it were very original. Like the song, the gas, all of that, the commercial. Everything.
Yeah. I gave it a 4 for originality. I loved it. I thought they did so many fun things with this. The band is, of course, iconic. The song still has a great rating. Like people refer to this episode all the time. Like it's a classic episode. It was a great episode. For secondary characters, I also gave it a 4. I felt that this, for me, when we talk about the secondary characters, like a big element of it is, are the secondary characters driving this narrative and really adding new storylines and adding to the concept of the show? Or is it Nathan running wild and the business is just there? And this episode would not be what it is without all the musicians, the Shell employee, incredible.
Yeah, the Shell employee is so good.
He's so good. I cannot believe we didn't bring him back. What a come with guy. He's like, you want to give me an instruction? Like, I'm going to absolutely nail this bit. He's like, oh, this oil-covered duck, I feel nothing. Like, whoa, sir.
Yeah.
Like,
and
he was
Christy.
An incredible. Yes,
we got to talk Christy pushing
didn't
back,
give a fuck.
Christy not caring.
Didn't care at all. So this is one of those things where the business owner could not have cared less. Wanted nothing to do with this idea, frankly. And for you to get this episode out of a business owner who had nothing to do with the episode is incredible, for him to be able to produce and come up with the episode in its totality and to be so entertaining while the business is essentially not involved at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason why it's so fun is because, like, yeah, the secondary characters, they're all bangers. Like,
Yeah.
everyone in the band is hilarious. Christy
Yeah.
is hilarious. The Shell employee is hilarious. Like, it's
Yeah.
just, even like the random people that they interview on the news who are talking about getting free gas are funny.
Okay, I'm going to make the Fun or Funny a 4.
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
so good.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
And then, so we only have 2 left.
Yeah.
So our second...
One of my favorite episodes of all time is coming up, I think.
Ooh. Well, is it Finding Frances? Because that one's next.
It's not.
So, for Finding Frances, we averaged to a 15.5. I gave it a 16.5, and you gave it a 14.5.
Yeah. And I've watched, and maybe it's to my detriment, how many times I've watched Finding Frances this month. Because maybe if I had watched it less, I would have found it funnier. But I gave it a 4 because I think it's a great segment. It's a classic. It's very difficult to include something like Finding Frances in this type of ranking because it's so completely different. Like, you're giving a 20-minute segment versus an hour and a half. Like, what is essentially a documentary versus... And some of these segments aren't even 20 minutes. Like, they're not a full episode. So they're just not even in the same realm. But I gave it a 4. How about you?
I also gave it a 4. So I think we're on the same page with, like, how fun or funny is it. Again, I think that Finding Frances is also just, like, a different type of humor than a lot of the other episodes. It's a lot less, like, ha-ha funny. I feel like it also encompasses a lot more than just, like, humor. Like, I think there's a lot of other emotions in Finding Frances that you don't necessarily find in other episodes. Like, it definitely has just more going on than the other episodes. So, you know, I don't think it's the funniest episode of the season or of the series, but it's definitely the one that made me feel the most. So
yeah,
there's that.
I loved having Bill back. I mean, I'm sure that we could talk for ages about all the amazing parts of this episode. Or it feels weird even calling it an episode, but we had the wonderful Uncle Kiwi come on for this episode. So if you haven't listened to it, it's one of the ones we recorded recently as well. It's just, there's so much to it. I don't know if we need to really, like the other segments we've had, like dive into all the details of it because it's so long. But it was an incredibly funny segment. Having Bill come back. So if you haven't watched Finding Frances, to start with, I'm very confused how you found your way here. But if you're here, someone who was hired to be a Bill Gates impersonator after his stint on the show came back, and Nathan was recording some commentary for the DVD version and came in to do a brief chat and then just kept showing up to the office, allegedly, and kept talking about this long-lost girlfriend or love of his life that he was really hoping to reconnect with. And after bringing it up so many times, Nathan decides, I'm going to use the show resources to try to find Frances for you. And so this documentary is the tale of them trying to find this woman to reconnect Bill with her to see if they could fall in love again, or see where they're at in each other's lives. We get some twists and turns, and we can now kind of talk about how successful did you find this idea?
Yeah, I mean, I think successful for this one to me, like, they found her. So I gave it a 5. I think there's no arguing that they found Frances. I think, we would have hoped
me.
I think I would have hoped for a different ending. I know we talked a lot about how, like, they probably could have found her faster.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of blatant self-sabotage in this episode where I think almost too much, where some of the things that Nathan was doing, while they are, like, iconic, I think we could have had some more naturally funny or more organic funny bits coming out. But, like, one of the most iconic images in Nathan For You history is the drawing of Frances.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're going to actually put that out and think you're going to find Frances from that drawing is insane. Like, that's just so obvious it's not going to work. I feel like there's multiple times that, again, they just self-sabotaged a little bit. The age progression specialist didn't work at all. but it was fun to bring.
I thought his drawing was pretty good. It
No, you
looked like
didn't.
her. Yes, I did. I said it in our episode that I think it actually looked kind of like her.
It did not look anything like her.
It wasn't
What are you
that
talking?
bad. It was not that bad.
Really bad.
No.
Yeah.
He got gravity. He knew how to use the gravity tool, the stretch tool on Photoshop.
Yeah, okay. And then he went on this whole tangent of going out with an escort. Like, they went on a lot of tangents that they knew were going to have absolutely nothing to do with finding Frances. So I gave How Successful Is the Idea as a 3.5. They could have found her a lot faster. They did find her, but they didn't get that video meetup, which I think was really important to get that confirmation that she sees him. We get that recognition from her. They actually talk it out. Like, he practiced meeting her in person. They got an acting space. They hired an actress to pretend to be Frances. We did that whole bit. I really think he should have pushed for them to meet in person. They did eventually find her, but I think they knew they were going to find her before necessarily pursuing this. I will never know. But I think they could have found her, you know, especially in this day and age. Like, you can find a person if you have the resources and the show that Nathan has. And so they were able to execute it. Of course, the most successful route that they took was the Mud 2, which was super fun, of getting into the high school, getting all of the documents, sending out invites with the bike gang to go and have the high school reunion. Like, I think that there was a lot. Really going to the grave and then looking them up in the newspaper is what did it, which again is something you probably could have thought of a lot sooner. And if you blatantly just hired a private detective, like, they should have gotten Brian Wolf, frankly, to go and find Frances. And I feel like it's a real miss that they didn't do it. I feel like that would have been a really fun character to include in this, and they would have found her and it would have been just as funny. But I feel as if his tactics would have been entertaining, but also successful. And they didn't fall in love. They're not married now.
I think Brian Wolf would have been too distracting in the episode. I think it's better that it's like almost this weird like bro comedy between Nathan and Bill, and like they're kind of this odd couple, like staying in the hotel room together, Bill like trying to catch the bee or whatever. Like, I feel like their dynamic is so bizarre, and like
it is very funny.
They have a weird like rapport with each other. Like, when they go to the aunt or the Bill's niece's house or whatever, and he's eating the nuts, and Nathan is talking to him and he's like, "Here I go digging again." Like,
that part's great, yeah.
Anyways, but back to the success thing, I do think it's a 5 because they found her. Yes, they could have done it faster, but at the end of the day, they found Frances. Like, to me, that means that it was successful. The title of the episode is Finding Frances, and they went and they found Frances. So, like, that's why I gave it a 5. And I think
that is hard to argue. I just feel like they self-sabotage so much in the Finding Frances process.
But I think for me, like, this episode, more than the other episodes, is so much more like the journey than the destination.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this whole epic thing that they go on and the trip and like all of the different things, like, yeah, Nathan does self-sabotage a bunch, and like, yeah, he is so elaborate in all the things that they do, but I feel like it's almost like soul searching too. So like, I don't know. Elaborate is not my issue. I think it's when like, because he does super elaborate things, which is literally going to be the exact next episode we talk about, I feel like is the gold standard for having to jump through so many hoops to accomplish a goal. But I feel like every decision made in the Richards tip is so meaningful and actually very impactful and is necessary to accomplish the goal, that I think when it just wasn't for so many of the routes that they went down, I was just like, oh, I wish that it was a little bit more intentional. I think it's like intentional episode wise. It's not intentional for finding her. I guess for me, like, I'm combining they found her and like what we learned along the way.
Yeah, it was very, very fun. Like, they did find her, which I don't think the episode would have existed if they didn't find her. But it was very fun that they did. How original is the idea? This
Gave
is
it
where
a 2.5.
Oh, that's exactly what I gave it. Yeah, I thought that my scores in every other category were very high. It's just not an original idea. Like Catfish is like an incredibly successful show all about finding people. There's so many shows about finding people. It's not that original, but I think that there's lots of original elements in it, like How to Sneak into the School was very fun. We've already kind of reviewed a lot of the little bits along the way. Very fun episode, not that original of idea, trying to find someone from your past.
Yeah, it's just not original.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all.
I feel like we don't need to defend it, you know. It is what it is. We're not saying it's a bad episode. Like, we literally just talked about how good of an episode it is. The secondary characters, I gave them a 5. Like,
I love them all.
I love them all, including the bee in the hotel room.
Yeah, I gave them a 4.5. Yeah, they were all pretty fantastic. Especially in this episode, they all really, especially the secondary characters, I felt like they did exactly what they needed to do. Bill is so freaking quirky. Like, what is going on? I love that they were able to find the letters and hear all about his past, that we got some of his family involved to confirm the story. We've already mentioned, even though it's a small segment, like the biking gang's very funny. The school is great. Our caricature, I guess he's not a caricature artist. Our age progression
specialist. God.
So,
he didn't spend 4 years in age progression medical school for you to be doing him dirty
calling
like that.
him a caricature artist. Yeah, they were all very funny. They helped with the plot. It was great. Wonderful
The person
episode.
in the wig store, like, there's a lot of funny people here.
Okay, my favorite secondary character is Bill pretending to be Francis in the wig.
Yeah, also, like, the actress, the guy from Mud, like, there's so many good people.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's only one episode left. Our top rated episode, which we actually gave the exact same score, is The Richards Tip.
Can I have a moment?
Yeah, sure.
I love this episode. Ever since I first watched Nathan For You, if anybody ever asks me, where should I start? I always start people on The Richards Tip. It is my number one episode for where I think people should start. I think it is the quintessential Nathan For You episode. I feel that it fully explains the concept in a very clean and concise way. It shows you some key secondary characters. It shows you exactly what Nathan is about. It fully explains, hey, we're going to take this fun and unique marketing idea. We are going to approach it in a very funny way with some very funny side characters. And I'm going to take you on a journey to get there. And you're going to be so shocked at the lengths I am willing to go to accomplish this task. And I just feel like it's one of the most perfect episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic episode. I think it has a lot going for it. Obviously, the idea is easy to follow, but the way that we actually get to, you know, how they get the Michael Richards impersonator, all of the, like, the little gadgets that they have to build, like the shadow box for the signature, like, it just has so many funny elements. For funny, I did give it a 4. I
gave it a 4 as well.
It's not like, again, similar to a couple other episodes this season, it's not like you're going to be laugh out loud funny every single second of the episode, but I think there is moments where that does happen for sure.
Absolutely.
The reveal of the diarrhea times, particularly, like, will never not be amazing.
Yeah.
Our good friend Austin Bowers.
I love Austin. Man, I love so much about this episode. The idea itself is not a funny concept. Like getting a celebrity to leave a big tip. But what he manages to do with it, it's just iconic. It's incredible.
Yeah. Successful. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 4 as well, I believe. Because it was very, here's the thing. They did exactly what they needed to do. They got it done. I don't think it brought their business a lot more customers, though. Like, they got on the news.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 because I'm like, it gave them a lot of press. So I feel like that definitely is part of it.
So they were in the news, but then the newspaper article that was written about it was the Diarrhea Times. So it's like, did anybody else write a newspaper article about it, or it was just
They were on
was
the
it just
news.
Austin? Yeah, they were
No,
on
they were
the
on
news.
like
Yeah,
the news. Yeah.
yeah. I
Oh,
said that
okay,
they
yeah.
were on like the televised news, but I think that was the only media coverage that they got from it. Genuinely.
Yeah, most likely. I think they also got like a lot of people leaving like reviews on
Well, that was from
Google.
Nathan for you. that was like
which,
people like us.
But still, like that's still good press for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I believe they're still open too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I mean,
not. Oh
now
no,
you're
actually,
making me think I should be giving every single one of these a 5.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I lied. It has been demolished. The restaurant is no longer open. But sorry to Joe K's. But I don't know. I think it was pretty successful. I don't think it was as successful as we've seen. Like, I think it's not as cut and dry as like where I said Finding Francis, like they found Francis. Like, I guess I could say they got someone to leave the tip and it got them on the news. But yeah, we just don't have a good barometer to make sure like how much money did they actually get. But I think we can safely say that like most likely they did get some people coming in because they're like, oh, I saw this place on the news or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we could just say like, rather than a scale of 1 to 5, like we could just be like, was this successful or not? Yes or no. Technically, yes, this idea was successful. You could argue that it should deserve a 5, but I don't think that it really like made their business. Like for Ghost Realtor, like she made it her business. Like this is her marketing concept that she uses every single day of her life. Like it didn't change their business. They got left a tip. They did it. Yes. Check.
Yeah.
But is it like bringing in tons of income for them? It really changed things up. Like they're an all-star business now. Like it just isn't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been knocked down, sadly. So
yeah.
It's definitely not an all-star business.
Sad.
I
mean, even like when they ordered the veggie melt, I'm like, is that even a good sandwich?
Well, I mean, it's a diner, you know.
Like what's in a veggie melt? I've been wondering.
I think it's just like vegetables and cheese on some bread.
Like,
it looked pretty good, though. Like, the food looked fine. The reviews are pretty good, like, before it closed. I just went on Google really quick, and, like, people did seem to like it, like, unrelated to Nathan Fielder people.
Mm-hmm.
Originality, I gave it a 3.
I did a 4.
Okay.
Because of the diarrhea times of it all.
Fair.
Like having to create a whole new newspaper. But yeah, the concept itself of like a celebrity leaving a large tip, like that's clearly been done before. I don't know if it's been done. I'm sure it has for like marketing purposes. Like especially if you love, like if a celebrity loves a brand or loves a restaurant, like they'll go and leave a big tip. But yeah, for you to do it like this and do it in a fake way, I think we blatantly saw how difficult it is to make it authentic and to get the photo of that exact celebrity's name on a receipt for the article. We saw how difficult that is. So I don't think people are faking this.
No, definitely not.
So,
I think like
incredible.
It is original. I guess, yeah, the reason that I only gave it a 3 is just because like I feel like we do hear about the celebrity tipping thing happening like all the time. So I don't think of that idea as like if there was a local place here where it's like, oh, a celebrity went and left a big tip. I wouldn't think, oh, that restaurant must be so good. Like I don't think it would make me go to that restaurant. Yeah, I mean it really depends, I think. I feel like it depends on like if the restaurant was really like niche and I hadn't heard of it, I might be like, oh, and like who the celebrity was. Like certainly not Michael Richards. It would need to be someone like I really love.
And it's like, why did you leave such a big tip? Was the server like so funny? Was the food the best food you've ever had and I must try it? Because I feel like that's what would draw me to a restaurant. It's like, oh, on the receipt he wrote like best sandwich I've ever had. Like, thank you. It's like, what is it about the restaurant? Or it's just he's like an insanely rich guy and all of his tips are huge. Like, what is it about the restaurant that is like, wow, this veggie melt was the best veggie melt I've ever had and I must go back and eat it again. And you've changed my life, so I must give you this money because of the experience in my mouth you've left.
Not the experience in my mouth. Okay, secondary characters, I did give this one a 5, which is my highest ranking. Other than Andy versus Uber.
I gave a 4.5. I didn't give any 5s. I don't know why. Have I ever given? Yes, I have. I just scrolled up slightly.
Probably Sue.
The hero, I gave a original 5. Honestly, earned.
I love all the people in this episode. I like the Michael Richards impersonator, obviously Austin Bowers.
He's the best. Okay, he and Austin are such strong side characters.
But like, I feel like we're underplaying like the restaurant people too. Like the guy who takes the photo holding the thing. Like
he had to work it.
Yeah,
I was thinking that today because I rewatched it today, and like everything really fell on him to go around, to go to every single table. Like he was the real actor. Like, and it was so funny that the Michael Richards impersonator kept just being Kramer.
Yeah,
and Nathan had to like keep talking him down and being like, no, we don't need to like stumble and like
you're not
yell
Kramer.
into the room.
You're Michael
and how
Richards.
much we had to like bring him down was hilarious. Okay. I don't know what we want to call him. Paul, the new Michael Richards? That guy. Did he ever change his name back?
Oh my God. Yeah. He must have, right?
He must have. Steve Ostro, I think, was his original name. Who knows what his name? No. Sorry. Wrong person. Steve Ostro is the Michael Richards lookalike. Robert Paul Holmes, because he wanted his name to be Paul.
Yeah.
Incredible find. Like, this is exactly the person we are looking for on this show. The armed robbery charge. What? The $1,001. The extendo handcuffs. The short handcuffs holding hands into the bank. The like everything about this man is exactly who you want for this show. Like, incredible find.
Yeah. Literally an insane person on this show.
Like, I hope he's doing well. Insane, but also the way he like thinks for a minute. Like, he really thinks through his answer and then gives it like, for example, when Nathan is like, oh, can we wear handcuffs? And he's like, what? No. Like, what are you talking about? And then Nathan explains and he pauses and he thinks about it. And he's like, oh, now that I hear where you're coming from and I understand, like, yeah, you know what? I have nothing else going on in the next 24 hours. We can do that. And I'm like, oh, you really stood here and thought about it and decided, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah.
He is so funny. We get Anthony Filosa, which I think just skyrockets any episode.
A legend.
Austin Bowers, an absolute legend, incredible. The whole Diarrhea Time segment, them talking about their dating lives, them going for a drink. Honestly, scarring that Nathan didn't take a sample of his pee before and then show us their hangout and then check after.
My God.
Very offended. Incredible side characters this episode who really drove the plot. Like, this episode would not be the same without Robert Paul Holmes, now Michael Richards. Like, you don't find that human. This episode doesn't exist. And that's the kind of person I want in these episodes when we're talking about side characters. If it's not just a Nathan episode, which is also incredible, but this is like the exact episode where you're like, without this person, this episode is not exciting. Like, this would be such a nothing episode without this insane person agreeing to all these little bits. Because so easily they could have found someone who said, no, why would I be handcuffed to you? No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
that's such a good bit.
It just comes together in such a magical way.
Incredible episode. Worthy of the top spot this season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like scrolling through looking at what other top episodes we have, and it's in good company with Gas Station from season 1, The Ghost Realtor, of course, The Movement, and then finally the Richards tip. No arguing with that foursome.
I could change every single category of this episode to a 5 out of 5. Like, I really think it's an incredible episode. I think it's
banger.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
it's a fun
I really
one.
want a shirt. I really want a shirt that has like our top episodes, like a little character from each one. Like, these episodes are so good.
I'm like, well, who would we have? Like, Gas station. Daniel Ashikian. I feel like the problem with
No, from gas station, you would have a bottle that says grandson's pee on it. That's all
oh,
would
like
have.
you want a picture. I thought you meant like
Yeah.
everyone's names. I'm like, no one's
No.
gonna know who those people are. I feel
No
like
one
I
knows
don't know
what
if
we're
I
talking
want.
about anyway.
No one ever knows what we're talking about when we're talking about Nathan for You.
Okay, so some of you might know that I had been saying for a while that my family did not know that I had a podcast. And did I talk about this on the last episode?
I don't remember. Maybe.
So my cousins came to visit and they do know that I have a podcast because I do post about it on my Instagram page, but I just normally had blocked like my family. And so we got together and like my cousin, like one of the first things she said at like the table for dinner with everyone there was like, "Oh, Meg, like how's the podcast? Like I've been seeing the post, blah, blah, blah." And my mom's like, "Hmm?" And I was like, "Well, can't back out of this one." So I told them about it. And so my stepdad, I went to see him on the weekend. He was like cracking like these Nathan jokes. And he was like, "Oh, did you get really good grades from business school?" And I was like, "Oh, did you?" And so he said, and this is awful. He said he tried to watch an episode. He didn't like it, but also couldn't tell me what episode it was. I was like, "Tell me anything that happened this episode. A single thing." He couldn't tell me. I was like, "Did you even watch it?" I was like, "Go look it up, report back what episode you watched, and I'll send you a list." But he just was like, "Oh, the idea wasn't successful." And I was like, "Did you watch the very first episode? Because that's probably my least favorite episode." But I haven't heard back. So I'll message and find out what episode it was that he watched.
He does have an MBA. So like he would be picky about the business succeeding.
Yeah, he's literally a business consultant, worked in marketing his whole life. Like we used to watch marketing shows and little bits growing up and would talk about them a lot. So I feel like this is actually like very much his niche. So I'm going to send him a text. I don't think I'll hear back from him because it's a bit late. What Nathan episode did you watch? Explain yourself.
Tell me, why did you not like it?
Yeah. Let me send you the rankings and you can decide what episodes to watch in this order.
Yes, so let us guide you.
Mm-hmm.
Should we talk about what we're planning to do next?
Yes, we shall.
Okay, well.
Voicemails.
Yeah, so we are going to be covering The Curse for real this time. We're actually going to cover it. But we are going to wait until the first week of September because like
Spooky
I feel
season.
it's getting into spooky season. Also, it just seems like a nice clean time to start a new show when it is the start of the next month. So next week we're going to do a little voicemails question show. So if people want to send in voicemails or just like random questions for us about whatever.
Literally anything.
Yeah, just send them in and we're just going to have a little chit chat on mic about all of that. And then we'll be starting The Curse shortly after. So if you are interested in watching The Curse with us, we would love to have some people watch along.
Oh my gosh, please do. Now, something I do want to say. So I know a few people who have seen the show and I said, "Oh, should I watch the whole thing through, go back and then start podcasting about the episodes with the knowledge of what happens?" And they said, "Absolutely not. Watch it one episode."
Don't do that.
Don't do that. We've already decided. Yeah. But I'm just letting everyone else know that we are watching it one episode at a time. We will have no idea what happens later. Neither of us have seen it, so everything will be a surprise. I know that lots of other people have already watched it. It's already been out for a bit. But Kelly and I have not seen it. We have no idea what happens. And so we will be watching it episode by episode each week, being surprised. And we have had no knowledge about it prior to this.
Yes. Yeah. But so yeah, don't send us spoilers. But if you do want to send us questions for next week, at NathanForUsPod on Instagram, at NathanForUsPodcast on TikTok, send us an email, NathanForUsPodcast@gmail.com, or send us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/NathanForUsPodcast.
So we will link that. And then if you want to send a longer voice note, you can also, or if you don't want to use that specific platform, record something and email it to us. And then we'll play your voice notes on the podcast. And you can say hi, introduce yourself if you want, yap about whatever you want. You can just send us your opinions. You can ask a question.
But yeah, so we look forward to hearing from everyone. And we look forward to watching The Curse. I need to figure out where we can watch it in Canada. So
Paramount Plus, I believe.
Oh, right.
Not to promote them. But as soon as you said that you had deleted your subscription, I was like, well, that's going to be short-lived.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get it back,
You get a few weeks off. You get it back. Yeah, we could start The Curse.
Yeah. In this economy, like, I can't be paying for all these streamers. Come on now.
That's fair.
Maybe there's a DVD I could buy.
No way.
Yeah, sadly, it doesn't look like I'll be able to get it on DVD or anything. So Paramount Plus it is.
You're really aging yourself after your birthday.
Yeah.
Trying to digging again.
If you want to know how much I'm actually aging myself, my computer just set itself to sleep mode, and it's 10:15 p.m. because this is normally when I'm in bed.
So we did it, gang. We ranked everything. We finished Nathan for You. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been wonderful.
We found Francis, as they say.
And we'll yap about it next week. This has been Kelly and Megan on your side.